Barts is the largest NHS trust in the UK. It's huge in many terms. So we have 6 hospital sites. We employ 15,000 staff. We have something like 578,000 square metres, so it's a huge estate. And we seem to have one of every type of building you could imagine in the NHS. So we have on this site at Barts Health, we have the newest hospital in the NHS, a new build PFI, and we also have one of the very oldest listed buildings in the NHS. So there's a real contrast and scale to Barts Health.
The complex benchmarking process that we've been through at Barts really demonstrates how the Aquamark is going to help the industry to build business cases and to target reductions for specific areas. So for us, it enabled us to really focus on specific or clinical streams or areas or buildings, and I think the industry will find it really useful to have that, to be able to build a business case, a robust business case for improvement.
Complex benchmarks provide an accurate snapshot and a good picture of how water can be used at non-domestic properties. They provide a much more accurate representation of how water usage should be used and can be used.
One of the greatest achievements, I think, for us is the partnerships that we've built along the way. We've been able to do some really innovative stuff. So the partnership that we have with ADSM to tackle water has been amazing. We've had some great success. We've saved a lot of money. We've saved about 1.3 million over the life of the project. We've saved consumption 30%, and that's really allowed us to put water on the agenda. It's also put us in really good stead for the deregulations of the water industry that are up and coming, and I think it's been really important for us because water is an increasingly expensive commodity. It's an increasingly scarce commodity as well, especially within the London region. We've seen the increase in desalination plants being introduced, and so it's really important for us to have a grasp on what we're doing, where we're using it and where we can make savings.
Complex benchmarks account for both water consumption which can be influenced by the end user, as well as water consumption which cannot be directly impacted or influenced by the customer. From that, we can create sound business cases for future investment in technologies to reduce water consumption in areas where end users can have an influence. For Royal London Hospital, for example, has a lot of pieces to the puzzle. We have one of Europe's largest renal units there. We have 2 or 3 separate water treatment plants which feed sterile services departments, endoscopy departments, a large boiler house as well. And essentially a complex benchmark will accurately assess the expected water consumption for each of those processes or clinical streams in order to make sound business cases and targets for Barts to look at areas within the specific processes where they can reduce their water consumption.
When we started the partnership, we had very little visibility on our water usage, and water was kind of the poor relation in terms of utilities. I think what it meant was we were spending a lot that we didn't really understand where it was going. We weren't picking up leaks early. We had quite a lot of wastage and inefficiencies in the systems that we had, partly because of the age of our estate.
Because Barts Health is such a large and complex organisation, for a while now I've wanted to simplify and standardise the supply chain and the partnerships that we have so that we can start to be a bit more consistent in how we do business. And that's why it's really important, particularly with water, that we focus on a partnership approach and something we can scale up across all of our sites. We want to make sure that we do have a standard approach in terms of how we measure, manage and monitor.